Hey there guys, here Jarrett here, aka Sergeant Sealch here, back again here with another video, and today we're going to be doing some final ratings here on 5 total fragrances here that I've had now for a little bit, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit more in depth here before I give a final rating here. But we're going to go ahead and start off here with probably one of the more easier ones, and the one that came out, I would say it's been out the longest amount of time. It came out last spring here, and that is going to be Nitro Red Intensely. Now, I just got here, this is actually the second bottle here that I bought because, like I said in a prior video here, I actually gave my old bottle to a coworker of mine here. But all in all here, this is also the one that I've had the most amount of time with here. It's one of the easier type of scent profiles here to wear because it's going after that sort of Invictus style DNA here, Invictus Aqua here. So all in all here, it's pretty good. It is more dense than the red version. I would say it has a little bit more depth to it. It's not as aquatic as the original Nitro Red. But I actually think this one's a little bit better here because I think this is more of a year-round style scent. I also think that this has a little bit more denseness to cut through the cold as well. So it's more of an all-year-round wear. It's an easy wear. It's one that, I would probably, in the Nitro line of sorts here, if I was doing like personal ratings of the Nitro line here, I'd probably put this in third. And I'd probably put like Nitro White in second, and then I'd probably put Elixir in first right now. We're still waiting on the gold to come out here. These could have sworn that they said that it was supposed to be out around Christmas time, but now that we're almost a month after Christmas, it's still not out, at least not in the States yet. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We're supposed to be getting like Nitro Gold, Nitro Platinum Limited Edition. Platinum is probably like right behind this, so I would imagine that's going to be pretty good too. But all in all, this stuff is pretty good here. It's sort of like some other differences here that are in here, I would say, is this has a peach note, I believe, in here. You definitely get a little bit of like a peachy apple vibe that's not in the original. The original is very like watermelon focused here, so yeah, this one to me, easy wear. This has really good longevity too here. Obviously, it's going to pump because it's an X straight. But this stuff, probably 10-ish hours of longevity here. I've never had any issues with this one either here. Personally, if I was giving it a rating here, because of ease of wear, I think it's pretty blind buy safe. I don't see like this is like one that's pretty hard to hate. I would probably give this one like a 9.25 pretty easily here. So, yeah, good stuff there. And another one here that I wanted to go over here, because these three are kind of, they're from the same brand. But personally here, one that I've had a little bit more time now here with is Afnan Lynked Freedom here. So this one, to me, now my cap is broken, as I've shown in prior videos here, but overall the scent here is really easy to wear. Again here, this is sort of a blend of Most Wanted Parfum and YSL Myself here, the EDP version here. But yeah, all in all, you get like the opening of like YSL Myself here, and then in the dry down, it gets a little bit more dense, a little bit more sweeter. I've described it here in a past video, and it still does here. It is almost like caramel chips, almost like chocolate chips, but the caramel chips that are like just starting to melt here. It's not like a very thick sweetness. It is sort of just a light tinge of sweetness. This is like a sprinkling of sweetness here in the dry down here, but it is some really good stuff. I get, some decent longevity out of this. I'm usually in that 7 to 8 hour range here with this stuff here, so it's still gonna, it's enough for what you're probably going to be doing, during the day or wearing this at night, depending on when you work. But all in all, this stuff is phenomenal. I would say this is also like pretty blind buy safe here. And I think I gave this like an 8 or an 8.5 in the, my first impressions rating here. But I would actually bump it up. I'd bump it up to like right in that 9 range here, I would say here. So, and I think the more time that I spend with this here, even though I said here in a prior video, I probably still prefer 9 p.m. Elixir and the 2025 releases of like Afnan. But, if somebody came up to me and said like, oh, this is, the best release that they had in 2025 here, I wouldn't have an issue with that here either. I think they're probably like neck and neck here with each other here. Rare Reef to me, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Pacific Chill. I know you guys, I've said that in past videos too, but all in all, this is floral in the opening, a little bit citrusy floral in the opening here, and then it kind of dries down into a more, I'm not going to say like toffee sweetness here, but a little bit caramel sweetness. It almost has like a toffee type vibe to it here, but all in all, this stuff is super solid for what it is. Now we're going to get into the 3 Armaf fragrances here, sort of the big 3 releases here that they had at the end of last year here. The first one I want to talk about here, and probably the one that people have heard the most about, is going to be Armaf's Club de Nuit Bling here. Now, this one to me, obviously it got a lot of hate. It got a lot of hate because of the fantasy accords here that they used in the note breakdown here. So if you go on like Fragrantica and stuff, obviously you're going to see, I don't even know what the rating is now. I think it was like right around a 3.5 the last time I saw it. It is going to get, it's just getting dogged. So you can't really go by that. But you've also seen like there's a lot of people that hype this one up. There was a lot of people at the event for this one. Yes, here the bottle does feel good. It feels like hefty and stuff, even though it's a smaller 75 ml bottle. The bottle itself actually feels, it feels pretty good here. And they put a lot of attention to detail in it here. It has the signature of like the owner on the top here. I don't know if I can get that on camera here. I have to get it to shine here, but it's over here. You can see it a little bit there. But all in all, I think this scent is really easy to wear again here. I think this is, people describe it as mango, passion fruit, or like guava in the opening. I don't think it's like, what's weird is I don't think it's a mixture of all those things, but if you said all those things here, I would say, yeah. And then it has sort of like a very generic to me here, sort of I shouldn't say very, I'll say semi-generic dry down here of like a shower jelly vibe, like blue style scent profile here. So I would say, did this one get like a little bit overhyped? I think so. I think it did. I think in like the line of like Club de Nuit releases and like the normal line that come in like this style bottle or anything like that, I would say, personally, if I was including the Prosciutto line in there, I would say Prosciutto would be 1, then the X-Straight and the limited edition, then Urban Man Elixir, and then I would put this like right behind that. That's kind of where I would say here. First impressions rating here, I think I was a little bit higher on this one at the time here, just because it was sort of a different thing that they were doing here, and I think they went after a signature scent that was easy to wear, and I think they did nail that here. I usually get anywhere in that 8 to 9 hour range here, so longevity on this one has gotten way better. However, I think I would probably downrate this here just because I think the scent profile in general is a little bit generic And I do. I think Urban Man Elixir is better than this, probably. I'd probably buy another bottle of Urban Man Elixir before I bought this, even though you can find this now for like 40 bucks. And it is pretty good for what it is. Has decent projection, decent longevity. But at the end of the day, I think I would probably give this like an 8.25 on my final rating here. Next up here is going to be this one. We're going to go with this one here because I think this is the safest blind buy from Armaf here of the year of 2025. And this one, you know, if I was going to go out and buy any one fragrance from Armaf that was released in 2025 that wasn't the X Straight here, Club de Nuit X Straight, I would probably buy this one, which would be Dunescape here from them. This got a lot of hype here, but this got hype just because of the cap. Who cares? To me, this is the scent profile here. Yeah, it's something that we've smelt before, but it's sort of a twist on like two style of DNAs here. I've seen people say here, afternoon swim, you know, kind of drenched over YSLY EDP. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. To me, it is like literally like they took YSLY EDP, squeezed an orange on the top of it, and called it there. The thing that is impressive about this, now this is also an X Straight, but the thing that is very impressive about this here is the projection and the longevity of this for a freshie. I think this is an all year round wear. This is signature scent worthy. This is a really good release. I put it in my top 15 video here for a reason, because it is such an easy grab and go, you know, wear. I'll put the note breakdown here up here for you. And all in all, this stuff is really good. Like I said, good longevity, good projection. I usually get anywhere in that. I don't want to go into double digits here of like 10 hours here, but I would say I usually average right around that 9-hour mark here. Maybe, you know, it's still on skin at 10, but I usually am getting 9 hours with this, no problem. It is an Ambroxan bomb here. It almost has, like, obviously similar to YSLY EDP, it has like a shower jelly type vibe to it, but it is super good for what it's worth. And I think you can find this now here. Now, I pre-ordered this on the actual Armaf website. I would not have paid $55 for this, and I wouldn't again here, but I think you can find this now. Now it's starting to show up on like discounters and stuff for right in that like 34 to 37 range, I think is what I've been seeing it at. I would swoop it up. You know, this is definitely, you know, if you were going to bop it or cop it, I would cop it immediately here. But super good. Final rating on this one. Again, I think I'm going to give it like a 9.25. I think it's super good stuff for what it's worth. And for a freshie, it actually has good longevity too. Lastly here, what we're going to talk about here is the one that probably gets talked about the least, although it is beginning to get traction here from some bigger creators now too, and that's going to be Armaf's Checkmate Night here. I think whenever this was first talked about, everybody was like, oh, you're talking about like Chessmate, or not Chessmate, Checkmate King here. No, this is the Night. This is the one that came out, you know, at the end of 2025. I've talked about it in prior videos. This is literally just, you know, the opening of Absolute Aventus and sort of the dry down. It still has a dry down of like Absolute Aventus here, but it leans more into like Nishane's Ani, a very vanillic, very creamy. The best way to describe these type of scent profiles, again, I'll put the notes up here. However, I don't think the notes quite describe what's going on in this scent profile here. This is perfect date night wear. And this is, to me, as a standalone scent here, this is a 10. This is a 10 here. I usually get anywhere right around that 8 hours of longevity. It's not a beast in projection or longevity here, but I don't think this one needs to be. This is like again, a perfect like date night wear to me. And it's one that you want to keep going back in for more once you get like the little whiffs of it here. So yeah, I like this one quite a bit here. So all in all, I would give this one a 10. That's going to wrap up here the video for what this one is worth and the final ratings on these fragrances. I have a few other videos here planned. I have a few, there's some fragrances on the horizon here that they look like they're going to be pretty good, but we'll wait and see here until they release here. But all in all, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Peace.